Hello everyone and welcome to the fifth round of Formula E here in Mexico City. We are live for Chat E. Now the sun is setting at the circuit here, the Hermanos Rodriguez track, and I'm joined by our commentator Jack Nicholls, and also new this round is Scott Speed. Scott, how are you doing? Welcome to Formula E.
I'm great, thanks for having me.
Good. Now guys, let's have a quick chat about the circuit. Obviously it came back last year for the first time in Formula One, well the third time running for Formula One. But there are a lot of changes. It's been reconfigured quite significantly for Formula E, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Formula E track is pretty much nothing like the Formula One track. In fact, it uses mainly the little oval circuit that they have here, but it still goes inside the stadium. There's more corners inside the stadium, and well, you drove around it earlier, did some donuts in the stadium, messed up all the paintwork, so nice one there. But what's this circuit like?
Well, it's actually quite smaller when you get out there driving on it. It actually only uses one of the corners from the F1 track, and that corner has quite a lot of grip and is really nice. The rest of the track is like a typical, Formula E track. When you get out there on day one, it's pretty dusty and dirty and slippery, and it's going to just groove in and rubber up and gain some grip as the weekend goes on.
What do you think the main challenges are going to be for our drivers?
Well, the track has 3 chicanes. And, those are always pretty risk and reward. How close do you want to cut them? And there's going to be lots of areas for people to take risks. Mainly turn 1, which seems to funnel from a lot of space to not a lot of space really quickly. So we'll see. It's going to be exciting for sure.
It'll provide plenty of entertainment.
Absolutely.
Well, as we like to on our chatty, we're going to see who we can find in the pit lane and hopefully grab a word. We've got the Mahindra Racing Garage just on our right, and I can spot the team principal, Dilbag Gill. Dilbag, please come and join us.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Enjoying Mexico so far?
Man, it's really lovely out here. It's really nice to be here, yeah.
Good. Now, we want to talk to you a little bit about the announcement with the race in India. Can you give us any insight?
There's going to be a race in India.
Where?
Where? That's a tough one. I think when is easier than where. Delhi is looking good. Okay, so the government of Delhi has given us a letter of intent to have the race. They're looking at as early as November this year if we can do it, or if there's a calendar gap sometime early next year. So we are starting to work on that, and I think the first thing we did was, okay, let's try and find where we can race in Delhi. And we had this little competition out on through Twitter and other ways, and we got more than 100 designs of race tracks coming in. And the good part is I think most of them want to do it around the nice part of Delhi, so it's going to be a pretty interesting track, and hopefully we should know about it in the next 2-3 weeks.
And you had a big demonstration in Delhi at the Grand Prix circuit the other week. How was that?
That went well. Okay, and I think the result of that was the letter of intent from the government. So we took it on a car and a bike, and the good thing is, yes, the Formula E car is faster than a Moto3 bike. Okay, that is nice. Off a straight into the drag and stuff like that. And I think we had a lot of people from the Mahindra family who visited us over that thing. It was not open to public, it was more just for the organization, understand what we do. A lot of the people who are going to be stakeholders in making a decision of a race coming to India to come down it. So it was like, I think maybe we had 700-800 people down for the event. Spent the whole day, and it was good fun, yeah. I think there's a lot of pent-up enthusiasm to bring the race back to India.
Did you drive the car right here?
My hearing's not too good today, so I think I didn't hear the question, sorry.
Excellent. Well, yeah, we certainly hope an Indian race comes off.
We would absolutely love it, yeah. Have you ever raced in India before, Scott?
No, but it's just another great stop for the FC.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Right.
Sure thing, guys. Just remember, in India we need energy for the horn also on the car, okay? Beep, 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 beep.
I think we need one of those in Mexico as well.
Yeah.
No.
The driving around here is pretty chaotic.
I'm telling you, if this is Mexico,
This is nothing.
India's there, okay?
Okay.
We're on a different planet, different orbit, different universe. Come on, it's going to be quite different.
Right, okay, well, we'll come prepared with our horns then.
Yep, and your earmuffs, okay? Take it easy.
Cool.
Thanks
Dilbag.
so much, and have a great
No
weekend. Well, it would be good to go to India, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be
Chaos?
phenomenal. Yeah, exactly. But it's quite a tricky format for them because of their sort of road structure. It's such an old-fashioned city, Delhi, in parts of it. So trying to find somewhere, it's not like when we went to Miami and you've got these wide open boulevards. It's really tough to actually find a place there.
So we're here at Team Aguri and see if we can hunt. We might have Mark Preston around.
Yeah.
Well, we'll hang around here and hopefully we'll find him.
Well, they've got a new livery this weekend.
They do. They're looking good, aren't they?
With the Golf backing, and obviously Golf, a big name in motorsport, and usually back in the day associated with oil, but they're now much more interested in renewable energy and that kind of thing, which is great to see. And here comes Mark Preston now.
Mark, come
Right
and
on
join
cue.
us, just on cue. Excellent.
How are you?
Running through the garage. Good, how are you?
Good. Yes.
So tell us about the new Golf sponsor.
You like it?
We do, we think the car looks gorgeous.
Now I've got to go and buy the watches and everything now.
Yeah, well, you've got to change your team kit.
No, I've got it on underneath. It's just too cold. That's why. Yeah, it looks really cool, doesn't it? Does it look good on track? I didn't see it properly on
Yeah,
track.
it looked great, but a big weekend for you guys, I imagine. This was Salvador out there.
Oh yeah, I've seen him just in interview after interview after interview. He doesn't seem to get time to say, like, hello Mark, goodbye, I'm going off to the next interview. So it sounds like it'll be crazy with the big stands out the back of the big stadium when he comes into the first timer into the stadium. I think it'll be pretty impressive. So yeah, it'll be a good weekend. They're all fired up after going pretty well at the last race, even though after the small failure.
Yeah, so Antonio was running second at the time.
Yeah.
What happened? He just came to a stop.
It was a very small plastic clip that goes onto the battery that costs about £2. So
Yeah, I think Antonio said it was probably the cheapest part of the car
Yes.
that cost the most
Indeed,
amount
yes.
in terms of time.
But it's happened to me before in other series before, where a $1 part, breaks the car down. So it's not uncommon, sadly. But yeah, so hopefully we'll follow on from that. He's pretty fired up, seeing he's now been in Superpole twice. So yeah, hopefully we follow that on.
Did he have troubles today as well in the shakedown? He came to a stop a couple of times.
Yeah, I think he stopped as he went out of the pit lane. I think just one of the software settings wasn't right, so they fixed that and should be okay tomorrow.
And what can you do this weekend? Can you run up the front like in Argentina, or is it a bit of a different track?
No, I think actually there's a few interesting things about this track that on the simulator showed up. So they're quite confident that even though maybe when I first saw it I thought a little bit too similar to Beijing, but guys have convinced me that actually on the simulator there's a few difficult areas coming to some of the corners. So we think it'll be pretty good actually.
Cool.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Mark. We wish you all the best of the weekend,
Thank you.
especially to Salvador as well, because
Yeah,
I know he's got a lot of fans that are looking forward to seeing him.
We wanted to speak to him, but he was a bit busy, so we settled for Mark Preston.
I managed to get a little bit of time with Salvador actually yesterday. He gave me a driving lesson around Mexico City.
What was that?
It was pretty chaotic. We sort of started off our trip, and after about 5 minutes we'd only moved about 2 meters. So it was a really good driving lesson. Experienced a lot.
Who had control of the radio?
Oh, yeah.
You had control of the radio.
Like who was shotgun?
Oh, do you know? We filmed it, so we weren't allowed the radio on.
Oh dear.
What
We'll
do you
do
do for show business?
We'll do it again.
We've been
Hi, Roger. How you doing?
Roger Griffiths from
Hi, Roger
Andretti.
Godspeed. Nice to meet you, buddy. Nice to meet you.
Right, we'll let you conduct this one then.
What do you want to
have
ask
you
Roger?
always wanted to ask him?
Not on air.
I'm just going to talk about what happened in Miami after the race then.
Oh, what happened in Miami after the race?
Don't recall.
Is there a good reason
Amazing.
for that?
Scott did the race in Miami last year, and you did all right, didn't you?
Not so
Second? Nearly won it, yeah. But then celebrated, I imagine. But anyway, forward to this weekend. How are things looking?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, both drivers seem pretty happy with the cars in the shakedown, no issues. So we're just sort of ready for tomorrow. And actually you can see there's a lot of inactivity in our garage, which is always great at this time on a Friday night. It's when they're thrashing around. It's a bit worrying, but I think we're in good shape.
And what can you do to develop the car over the course of the year? I know they're all homologated, but you do see teams making steps.
I mean, you've obviously seen we've got some brand new wheels on the car.
Yeah.
Very proud of them. The first team out there with new wheels. I see others have got them now. The big area open for us is software development, and that's something that we've been working on continuously and really made some strides. And I mean, I know Scott drove with us last year, but I think if he jumped in this car right now, he'd actually be quite impressed with the difference in performance from what he saw maybe a year ago to where we are now. So we've hired some talented engineers, and that is showing now in the development of the car.
And how much of the focus is now on season 3? Because you've resubmitted your powertrain.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are switching our development activities now over to season 3. We've got a very comprehensive program underway at the moment. We've been working out what the test schedule is going to look like for us, and the complication is it's all on top of the racing season as well, and we're not the biggest team out there, and it's the same people running the cars here as also developing the season 3 car, and like on the software side of things, we're having to make that decision. Do we keep developing through season 2, or do we switch the focus to season 3? And every team goes through that dilemma each year as to at what point you cut off your current season development and focus on the next season. But we've got some exciting things coming. We've got some new partnerships which are evolving, and we're quietly confident about what's going to happen for season 3.
And it's a big race coming up for you as well when we head to Long Beach.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, it's our home race, if you like. I mean, yes, it's 1,800 miles from where the factory is based, but it's a nice one for me because it's only about an hour from where I live, and I don't have to get on an aeroplane, which is fantastic. But no, I mean, it's a track we know really well. I mean, we've obviously raced there for many years in IndyCar, and Michael's an ex-winner at Long Beach, and he's actually able to impart some advice. I mean, he probably had a chat with you about the pros and cons of racing at Long Beach, and yes, it's not the same track as we run with the Indy cars, but it's a great circuit. I mean, last year we had such great fan engagement as well, so we're hopeful that when we return there in a few weeks' time, it's going to be the same for us. And
so that's
California sunshine as well. It doesn't get any better.
Quite a contrast to coming here, though, being it's a new race, the first time that we've come to this circuit this season.
No, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, anytime you get an opportunity to run on one of the modern Formula One tracks, it's great. It's great to see the venues. It's a challenging place because of the altitude that we're at. I mean, you don't want to run around too fast because you can feel how thin the air is. I think that's going to create some interesting setup compromises for the drivers, finding that right balance of downforce. The track is pretty slick. You probably notice that when you're out there, and some of the black paint that's down is it's like ice, I think. But I think we'll see as tomorrow goes through, we'll get more and more rubber down, and the racing, I think, is going to be pretty interesting. And it's a unique pit lane arrangement with the way that we're going to be doing the car changes, a little bit like Long Beach. So we're going to be a bit of practice for Long Beach maybe. I think the pit lane's plenty wide enough, so it shouldn't be an issue. But it's a unique thing, and I think it's great that Formula E is able to come to these diverse places and try something different, and maybe we'll see more tracks like this in our future.
Absolutely. Well, Roger, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for this weekend.
Yeah, thanks.
And can't wait to get to the sun in Long Beach, because Mexico, despite telling us it was going to be really hot, it's actually quite chilly, isn't it?
I turned up in my shorts on the first day, and everyone was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
in Mexico.
I'm not going to comment on the skirt that I'm currently wearing.
Exactly. But then you got about 10 jackets on as well. So
we've got a bit of a crowd actually gathering here outside the Virgin Garage. All the marshals taking photos.
Yeah, well, let's ask Sylvain, what are they doing here?
Practicing pit stops, not like we normally need it, but changing wheels, you never know, could be useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is going on with the pit stops? Because it's slightly different, isn't it, the way that the cars stop outside of the garage?
Yeah. Well, you've seen how it works normally here. The garages are a bit narrower, so it would be a bit dangerous to do the usual setup. So it's pretty much the exact same principle, but one car stays in the pit lane, the other one is already in a garage. That's it. It doesn't make a big difference, really.
And there was an announcement recently that the battery supplier is going to be open to tender in season 5. Quite an exciting opportunity, perhaps, for DS?
Yeah, for us and for others. I mean, we're not making any secrets of it. We don't know yet what we're going to do, but for sure, if you're a manufacturer, like DS, like Virgin, but obviously it's a partnership, it makes sense to start looking at batteries, We've played with powertrains, we're going to do it again next year, but longer term, it's battery and powertrain, right? So if we want to be winning races, we need to be able to develop both. But it's early days, and we'll see how it goes. The main thing for us, whichever way it goes, is that we achieve that goal to go from 2 cars to 1 car per driver. That's really the most important point, and that's why the FIA went that way.
And have you come off your high from all the celebrations of the last race?
Yeah, quite.
Because wow, it got very emotional with Sam's win.
Yeah, no, it did. It was very good. And the partnership with DS is still very young. We've only done 4 races with them. It's still very young. And so winning after the 4th race was really good. But yeah, I didn't get to celebrate too much. I had to take a 6 a.m. flight the day after. So I actually didn't party too much, but the boys partied for me. So that was good.
Oh, that's good. That's important.
What difference does the air make here? We've seen in the past when you race here, you get really high straight line speeds and you can run more downforce as a result. Are we going to see that? Because in shakedown, looked like people had quite flat rear wings still.
Yeah, so yes, it makes a very big difference. However, these cars, as you know, have far less aero than F1 cars, for example. So proportionally, the difference will be not as much because we generate less downforce in the first place. But yes, it will make a difference. And also, that's the beauty of electric cars, right? If you have less oxygen, you have less drag, but you have as much power. Normally, if you're in a petrol car, you win or lose both ways. Here we only lose the drag, so it's a compromise between top speed and downforce as usual. So you're probably going to see a bit more wing on some cars, but the overall balance will be quite similar, really.
Well, Sylvain, thank you very much, and good luck for this weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
So yeah, that's the pit stop practice in there, changing front wings, I think, just in case one of them sticks it in the wall.
It's very important, and the pit change as well.
Yeah.
Hurt a
No,
stick it in the wall.
Stick it in another driver.
Friendly confrontation with another driver on the track, for example. Many options there.
Yeah.
How did you find the car change?
It's honestly, it really wasn't an issue. I mean, you practice it so much, it was never something you really thought about too much. From my perspective, anyways, you're always just waiting on the guy to call you when to leave. It's the responsibility's on him to make sure he calls you at the right time.
But you spent a bit of time practicing jumping from one car to the next.
Yeah, naturally.
Come in, Oliver. How's it going?
Very good, thanks.
Oliver Turvey's joined us next. Now, earlier on, Scott was saying, I like that Turvey guy, but I never met him. Scott, Oliver, there we go.
How are you, man?
This is the moment you've always been waiting for.
Exactly. But what were you saying about Oliver earlier? You've been impressed, yeah?
Oh, it's impressive. I mean, obviously it's difficult coming into a new series, but Nelson having won last year, from the first look, it seems like you're comparing just fine.
So far, so good, but yeah. No, it's been great to have a strong teammate in Nelson, and obviously last year's champion, and I think it's a good reference for me and see how I'm doing. So I think this year it's been quite equal between us, always in qualifying and in the races. So not as high up the grid as we want to be, but we're working hard to get the team further forwards.
But higher than Beijing. Beijing was back row. It was 9th and 11th in Argentina. That is progress.
Yeah. Well, I was 15th in Beijing.
My apologies.
I was ahead of Nelson there.
But he was ahead of you in Argentina, so we'll call it a draw.
And I got the best result there in 6th for the team. So it's been difficult. We've had to make the most of the race and make the most of the strategy, and I think so far we've been doing a good job with that. And I think the last race in Buenos Aires showed again that we did a good strategy and we were able to get in the points. It was a shame we lost a bit of time in the pit stop, but I think to get more points again was a good result for us.
Now, Oliver, I've heard a rumour that Next TV have invested in a new simulator. Is that true? And have you spent any time on it?
Yes, they have got a new simulator there from the start of this season, or from the start of January this year. So we've been able to do some preparation work for each track, or for Buenos Aires and here on the simulator, which has been useful. I think it allows us to arrive at the track a little bit more prepared, and there's obviously the race day is quite intense with many things happening in a short space of time. So any preparation you can do is always an advantage, and I think especially on a new track, here's a new track for everyone. So trying to be as prepared as possible.
Do you think it's more important to have time in the sim for a series like this, where it is a one race day format, or does it not make so much difference?
I think in any series, if you can be more prepared, I think it helps. Obviously, there's quite short free practice time at every race. So. And for me, all the new tracks and a lot to learn really in a short time. So it's definitely a help. I think also to work with the engineers to kind of see if you can learn how to work better together and to make the most of the time you have. So that's really the advantage.
Excellent. Well, Oliver, thanks so much, and keep on pushing this weekend. Hope that sim time pays off.
The tricky thing with the simulators as well is you come to a brand new circuit like this, you haven't really got any data. That's the thing, and you can kind of do a guess, and it maybe helps. But in somewhere where you've got hundreds of laps of data, then you can really kind of learn stuff. We're photo bombing here. All the marshals are trying to get a pic with these two. Sorry to
Daniel,
interrupt.
Lucas, come and join us. How are you both?
Hi. Oh, we're good. Good to see you again.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome back in the paddock.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Now you're on this side. What do you want to ask the apt guys?
Let's see. I don't know. How I have no question I haven't asked yet. How, from a energy conservation standpoint of this track, where is that rating? What's it look like coming into this weekend? High energy conservation, or are you going to be able to run?
Yeah, it's I think one of the toughest we're going to have.
Okay, so
percentage-wise, we need to save a lot. Percentage-wise, it's the highest percentage that we need to save. So it's going to be tough for sure, and hopefully it also creates good overtaking on track.
How happy are you, Lucas, to just be 4 points behind Buemi? Obviously, you'd rather be in front, but looking at the sort of car advantage that perhaps Renault have, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, that's true. We don't have the best car in terms of performance, but we've been very consistent. Not completely happy with my last race in Buenos Aires. The small mistake on strategy there, but in the end,
only 4 points. I think on pure pace it will be very, very hard to fight for the championship, but you never know. The reliability is there. Race you can win also on strategy. We'll try to put the most amount of pressure we can.
What could you have done differently in Argentina?
Thinking now, well, I tried to attack Sam from the beginning, and then I used too much energy, and then I was an easy prey for Sebastian. Especially by the end of the race, I was completely dead with energy. What I should have done is at least, instead of, well, of course you want to win, so I wanted to attack Bird, but I should have defended more from Buemi, and in worst case scenario, I would have lost only one position instead of allowing him to attack Bird into the end, which could have caused more damage if he, almost 10-point damage if he overtakes Bird and wins the race. So in terms of strategy, that was the wrong decision on my side. But yeah, living and learning.
Now, in this season in Formula E, we've got 3 new circuits, Mexico City, Paris, and also Berlin. And it's recently been announced where it's going to be, in Alexanderplatz. What do you think of the track?
I think it's amazing. I mean, last year we had Tempelhof, which was already a good venue. I was quite surprised that it was so good. We had a full crowd and a good atmosphere. But I think with Formula E, you really want to be in a city center, and now we have that in Berlin. Now we are really in a great place, and hopefully the fans are going to love it.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to checking it out in Berlin.
Yeah, absolutely.
We enjoyed our race
guys.
last time.
We'll let you get back to the... Vamos, vamos!
He's a popular man by the looks of it. He needs a security guard.
Yeah, exactly. Don't we all?
Oh, I know.
I
We
don't.
could get used to it, couldn't
You had
we?
to do a selfie, like, half an hour ago. She had to do a selfie.
Just the single one self. No, a selfie, that makes it sound like I took a photo of myself.
No, okay, but with a selfie
someone
with a
else.
fan.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
Exactly.
So we've got Dragon Team. Anyone around here?
No, doesn't look like it. They've all gone home by the look.
One
So
of the
let's head
coolest
to
team logos, you have to say.
Yeah?
It
Yeah,
is
I
a
think
good-looking
so.
car.
And then finally, last of all, we've got the Renault Edam's squad, and
Championship leaders.
Sebastian's just emerging. Hello.
Seb, come and join us. How are you? Good.
Very serious looking. Very serious looking.
Always. It's a big day tomorrow. How are you feeling about tomorrow? You know, we had a chat earlier. You said the track is a lot slippier, a lot less grip than you thought.
Yeah, that's right. Now it's going to be important to build up. You know, make sure you don't go too quick at the start of the sessions. For sure, the track's going to improve, so it's going to come to us, and then it should be okay. So step by step.
I mean, it was a pretty outstanding performance in your last race. I know it sounded like you were slightly disappointed on the team radio, almost apologising to the team, but you did come from the very back of the grid and finish in second. Were you disappointed with that?
No, the performance was good, but it's just when you have the car to win the race and you don't win, it's a shame. You know, you don't feel like you've done a good job. But obviously the recovery was good, the point for the championship was good. So you know, if a bad race is like that, that's okay. Just need to make sure when you have the car, you need to get the most out of it.
Was it the best race you've ever driven? Can you think of any better that you've driven?
It's hard to say, because every race.
You've driven so many great races, yeah.
No, let's say it was good because it was hard to come back and manage the consumption, because if you look, we had only a safety car in the second part of the race, and every time you try to pass someone, you consume more energy, so you need to lift more towards the end of the lap, and that makes it very difficult to still have enough energy at the end.
And how are you feeling how many weeks old is your baby now? Are you using this as a holiday to gain some sleep?
Yeah, that feels like a holiday, No, he's 1 month now, so it's good.
Is Nico giving you some tips on fatherhood?
Yeah, he's a bit ahead, 3 months ahead, so.
So is there going to be which baby walks first, which baby talks first? Is that going to be a bit of a rivalry?
Be the pushy parents.
Well, mine is 3 months older, so I hope he gets a bit ahead.
What can you do this weekend, Nico?
I mean, I have a very good car, a very good team. It's just not been gone my way so far, but I'm sure we can be very competitive here.
What do you make of the circuit, having been out there today?
I think it's good. It's quite technical. It's much more bumpy than we expected, but it's nice. And I think tomorrow with the people, the stadium might be something very special.
I certainly think it will be.
Yeah. You kind of turned your season around last year at about midpoint. You know, we went to Miami. Do you think that this is about the point this season when you can do it and get a clean race?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I hope I can get a clean race this weekend and get a podium at least, and then it'll give me some more confidence for the next part of the season.
What are you thinking about this run from the start line down to turn 1? That's going to get pretty tight.
Yeah, I think it's better to start in the front row.
Yeah, very busy in the middle of the pack, I think. It's really going to be tough going from like a 20 metre wide to 7 metres wide or something.
I don't have any confidence that the orange cone down there is going to be there after the first lap.
No, absolutely.
No, I wouldn't want to be standing on that corner, that's for sure. No. Well, guys, thank you so much, and good luck for the weekend tomorrow. Good luck for the race day.
See you later.
Well, there we go. I think that draws everything to a conclusion. So, race predictions. Oh, we've got... I think they all want to be on the show. Yeah, predictions for tomorrow, Scott?
Well, you got to look here first. Yeah. Obviously, they've got the dominant car. I think, like they both say, you can kind of sense the pressure they both feel because they know it's on their shoulders. They have the car that can do the job. They just got to, pilot it to the finish. As you heard Daniel say, conservation is going to be high here. That's going to really open up the window for, I think, a sleeper to come in and have a good result. So I expect that to make the race really exciting.
And Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to look past the championship leader, but I'm just trying to think of something interesting to say. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going.
Don't put yourself down so much.
But on a smooth circuit like this, and it's not as smooth as people say, but I don't think it'll suit Sam Bird. But I think Apt could be there or thereabouts.
What about the Dragon Boys?
I don't think Dragon quite have that performance to really challenge these two. I think they'll be best of the rest, but maybe going forward towards Long Beach, they can have a better performance. But I think it's a Renault versus Apt battle again.
Well, it will be this time tomorrow when we will know the answer to that. Just finally, the next time we do a chatty, we're going to be in Long Beach. What can we expect for a race there? Because that is a place that you know very well.
You're going to have warmer weather, I hope.
Yes.
The sun will be shining. It'll be beautiful atmosphere in my home state of California.
And they've changed the first chicane for this season, so that's good.
Yeah. I think anyways, running around a track that is so similar to what the Indy cars are on, and especially the whole last sector, it's fun to, like this track, be on a track that other cars have raced on. It's cool to compare and to be able to go through some of the same corners.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you both, and thank you to all our team principals and our drivers for joining us for Chatty. Make sure you do tune in to the race. It will be live tomorrow at 4 p.m. local time, and we'll see you then. Thanks.